Good morning. Welcome to the Camden Parental Involvement in collaboration with the District Parent Advisory Council's Civil Rights, Then and Now, and Equity. Today, we are going to give you the history of civil rights pertaining to not only what the government, federal government calls for, but what our rights are as parents and what our charge should be. We're going to also hear about equity and what's actually happening in the Camden City Board of Education, even with Mr. Rahanafard, our superintendent, and what he's doing with his staff on behalf of that. And so today, I'm going to call Ms. Loretta Gooden as the president of the District Parent Advisory Council, and then we're going to call Ms. Betty Thomas behind that to do our welcome.
Good morning. As some of you know, I'm the president of the District Parent Advisory Council, and I'd like to introduce you to the executive board, Ms. Betty Thomas, Mr. Kevin Barfield. Ms. Betty is the vice president, Mr. Barfield is the secretary. But I have a special request for all parents to stand up, please. Come on, don't be scared. I need to let you know, you are the council. We're the executive, but you are the council. Without you, there's no us. And I just want to thank you for coming and supporting, because we have to do what we've got to do for our children and ourselves. Thank you.
We got some, not enough. My president just informed me that I have some men in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Especially all you handsome men. You ladies, y'all take him home, but he's mine now, okay? Thank you. I'd like to welcome you to our meeting, and I hope you learn some lessons that I'm planning on learning so we can live a little better in this town. Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, and be good to the boys now. You gotta be good to them.
At this time, I would just like to take an opportunity to acknowledge some of our guests that are here with us today. I'd like to thank Mr. Gilbert Whit-Wilson, who was just newly elected in as our Camden County Sheriff. Stand, please. Would you like to have any remarks?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
That's the best you've ever done. I would also like to welcome and recognize our administrative staff here with Paymon. Ms. Regina Robinson, the business administrator. And at this time, I'm going to have Mr. Paymon Rahanafard to come forward and do a welcome and speak to you about anything that his heart desires.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm going to be really brief, maybe not quite as brief as our sheriff, but brief nonetheless. I just really want to begin by thanking Ms. Martha Wilson. I don't think I've had a single conversation with her in the roughly 3 years I've been in Camden where she didn't advocate on behalf of parents in Camden. So let's give her a round of applause. And of course, the council who was just introduced, I also want to acknowledge your leadership here. So our president, Ms. Loretta Gooden, Ms. Betty Thomas, the vice president, and also Mr. Kevin Barfield, the secretary. Let's give them a round of applause. This is a really neat event. It's awesome to see this turnout from both parents and our central office staff here. We've got a really remarkable speaker, Mr. Richard Smith, who Ms. Wilson will introduce here in a moment, as someone who I've gotten to know in my time here in Camden, and someone who I think is an incredibly compelling and dynamic figure in this state, and I think you'll really enjoy hearing from him. So just thank you all for being here, and hope to continue this dialogue as part of the district Family Advisory Council, but just in general across the central office and across our schools. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Superintendent Haniford. I'd also like to acknowledge our FACE department. They are the family and community engagement piece that deals with our district, that is actually an extension of parental involvement. Because of the things that they do here in the district, it will give us access to exposing the information that we are responsible for putting out. According to our laws through the federal and state government, we need to talk about those things. And you know, there's parent trainings that take place on a monthly basis. So we will be reaching out to you through FACE and through our own Mr. Trey Johnson to make sure that you get the information so that you will be able to advocate on behalf of your children. It's not about coming at the district, trying to get someone. It's about you knowing what your rights are and advocating to get the best education you can for your children. So with that, today, I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming to the Camden City Board of Education a speaker that I met, not for the first time, but in October I had the opportunity to be with him at the NAACP conference. And through that, once he opened his mouth and started to speak, I said, we have to have him. Our parents deserve that quality of knowledge on behalf of our children. Today we have with us Mr. Richard Smith. He is a native of Trenton, New Jersey. He attended Trenton State College, currently known as College of New Jersey, where he was a speech, communication, and theater major. In addition, he attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Manhattan, New York, and Atlantic County College. Mr. Richard retired on April 1st, 2015, after completing a 25-year career with the New Jersey Department of Corrections. He is a Silver Life member of the NAACP. On October the 12th, 2013, at the annual NAACP New Jersey State Conference Convention, Mr. Smith was elected to serve as the president of the New Jersey State Conference of the NAACP, where Mr. Smith was re-elected overwhelmingly at the state convention held in October 10th, 2015, to another 2-year term. Prior to being elected state conference president, Richard was elected and served as the first vice president and the third vice president of the New Jersey State Conference of the NAACP. Prior to being elected first vice president, he served as the Southern Region Coordinator. Additionally, he has served as the chairman of the New Jersey State Conference of the NAACP Convention Planning Committee, and under his leadership, raised record amounts of money from 2010 to 2013. Mr. Smith served 7 terms as the president of the NAACP Greater Vineland Branch, number 2115. In March 2004, Mr. Smith was appointed by former Governor James McGreevey and presently serves as one of the 7 commissioners on the New Jersey Division of Civil Rights. In January of 2013, he was unanimously elected by his fellow commissioners to serve as the commission's chairman. In April of 2003, he was elected to the Vineland Board of Education. He was also elected and served on the same board from 2001 to 2002. In November of 2005, he sought the office of freeholder for the chosen board of freeholders in Cumberland County. He is a member of the St. Matthew's Baptist Church in Williamstown, New Jersey, where Reverend Raymond M. Gordon Sr. is his pastor. He is also a member of the Kappa Alpha Phi Fraternity, Inc., PR Local 105, Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, Off Broad Street Players in Bridgeton, New Jersey, and the Downtown Company of Performing Arts. He has been honored by numerous organizations such as the Political Congress of Black Women, Order of Eastern Star, the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, the Vineland African American Community Development Corporation, and the Grapevine newspaper as one of Vineland's, New Jersey's hometown heroes. Mr. Smith is respected as a passionate, fearless freedom fighter and is wholeheartedly committed to committing his life, longtime fighter for civil rights, equality, opportunity, and social justice. Mr. Smith's favorite quote is that of the late legendary Dorothy Height, who says, "Success is not measured by what a man accomplishes, but by the opposition he has encountered and the courage with which he has mentioned the struggle against the overwhelming odds." Mr. Smith, I welcome you to the podium.
Well, I get tired of hearing that thing. Sheesh, she didn't have to read the whole thing. Good morning. Come on, y'all, now wake up. Good morning. Good morning. I want this to be a conversation, and if we can talk back and forth to each other, we can move this thing along, and you can get on with your day, and I can get out your way. But first and above all else, I want to, and I don't care where I am, government, non-government, school, non-school, I thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for his anointing, for his presence, for his power. I thank him because he has the grace we need for the test that we face. And I pray that he will endow us and anoint us this morning, that we might be used by him and leave here today and do things that we have never done before. I bring you greetings from the NAACP, the New Jersey State Conference, our officers, our executive committee members. For 107 years, we have been the largest and the oldest, some say the baddest and the boldest, the most loved, the most hated, the most feared and revered, the most cussed and discussed, the often imitated but never duplicated civil rights organization in the world. And that reputation was established by those who went before us. So the question remains to each and every one of us as individuals today is, what are we doing as individuals to sustain and, more importantly, add to the reputation of those who have gone on before us? I want to bring greetings to your very able and competent mayor and my friend, the Honorable Dana Redd, to your superintendent, Payman Rehanafard, your board president, Sister Blackshear, the board members, to faculty, and also, as importantly, to the parents of the Camden City Schools. And I want to thank Sister Wilson for the invitation to be with you today. So this morning we're going to have a open, honest, and frank conversation. I can only be me. I can't be anybody else. So I'm open, I'm honest, I'm frank, and that's the kind of conversation we want to have this morning about our children, our community, our challenges, our responsibility, and solutions to help us overcome the obstacles that have stymied us and our communities. It's good to see parents out this morning, but we need to get to a place where rooms like this are overflowing with parents who are engaged, come on now, who are engaged, working together to ensure a brighter future for our children. Parenting offers the most wonderful and daunting challenges in the world. Parents are their children's most important teachers and mentors, and they bear primary responsibility for nurturing their sons and daughters while keeping them safe. Yet parenting is one of the most undervalued and least prepared for roles in America. Virtually everyone who has children wants to be a good parent, but some do not know how to do that and may lack the support of extended family or community resources. So for those of us who do know, some of us who've been around for a little while, to whom much is given, much is expected, right? So we must teach the importance to young parents that emphasizes that they must not be going around being more concerned about being our kids' friend than we are with being our kid's parent. My mother said, you know, we can be friends later. But right now, when you act up, I'm going to have to tear you up. Not abuse you, but set you straight, right? But nowadays, we're more concerned about being our kid's friend than we are being their parent. We must take parenting seriously. We can't be afraid of hard work and teaching our children hard work. Be reliable, be faithful, finish what you start. If you as parents cut corners, your children will too. If you lie, they will too. If you snicker at a racial or gender joke, another generation will pass on poison adults still have not had the courage to snuff out. So Camden City School District, the Lord has laid a word on my heart, and it may not be what you intended to hear, but you asked me to come and speak. Right? And so I have a tendency in my speaking to be like Forrest Gump would say, I'm like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get until you take a bite. So I invite you to take a bite of this word today that the Lord has laid on my heart. And if by chance you get angry about anything or you have a complaint about anything, see Sister Wilson. Right? Amen. James Weldon Johnson. James Weldon Johnson wrote the Negro National Anthem. The words are profound. And in that song, it says, lift every voice. Lift every voice. Not one, not two. The songwriter said, lift every voice. James Weldon Johnson knew the importance and the significance of lifting our voices and letting them be heard. So how is it now, then, my brothers and sisters, that many of us have become all too silent? Are we, as the songwriter said, drunk with the wine of the world, and we have forgotten? Has our feet strayed from the place, our God, where we met thee? We need to, again, parents, lift every voice. Daily, my brothers and sisters, we are systematically losing the civil rights our forefathers, our heroes and sheroes fought, bled, and died for. We have become extremely complacent. We become real comfortable. We are surely asleep at the wheel. Political operatives, let us call them, are out here doing and saying whatever it is that they want, moving forward full force with an agenda, a divisive agenda, saying things that we haven't heard in this country for a long time. I want my country back. Back from who? Huh? Want to build walls. Our communities are in disarray. Our homes are broken. Excessive use of force by police, a failed war on drugs, a broken education system, and questions as to do young black lives matter. And here we are, many of us, sitting idly by waiting for someone else to say something or to do something. Oh, we too busy, huh? We got too many irons in the fire. Well, the time has come for us to reprioritize our values. We most definitely better check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. The time has come for us to have some frank, honest, and yet painful conversations about the state of not only America, but more specifically, Black and Hispanic America. Race relations, safe streets, police and community relations, jobs, better neighborhoods, public education. But too many of us are perpetuating the pattern of silence. We must reinstill the values and the morals and a sense of purpose that our elders always embraced. But the problem is too many of us are standing by and we accept almost anything. Black America, Hispanic America, young Black America is in a state of crisis, and we must collectively take our share of the blame for the crisis. Many of our young people, they don't respect us. Many of your own children don't respect you either. Let's be honest. Why is that, my brother and sisters? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because we must question ourselves as adults as to the example we have set for our children. Have they seen us being inconsistent, unreliable, unaccountable, unresponsible, sneaking and creeping, dibbling and dabbling, huh? Someone shared a story with me several years ago. Story about a preacher from out of state who accepted a call to a church down in Houston, Texas. Some weeks after he arrived, he had the occasion to ride the bus from his home to the downtown area. And when the pastor got on the bus, he sat down and he discovered that the driver had accidentally given him $1 too much change. So as he considered what to do, he thought to himself, well, you better give the dollar back. It would be wrong to keep it. And then he thought, oh, forget it. It's only $1. Who would worry about this little amount anyway? The bus company gets too much fare. They'll never miss it. Accept it as a gift from God and keep it moving. But when he came to his stop, the pastor got up and he paused momentarily at the door. And he turned, he looked at the driver, and he handed the dollar to the driver, and he said, here, you gave me too much change. The driver, with a smile, he replied, and he said, aren't you that new preacher in town? Yes, the preacher replied. He said, well, I've been thinking a lot lately about going somewhere to worship. He said, and I just wanted to see what you would do if I gave you too much change. He said, I'll see you at church on Sunday. When the preacher stepped off the bus, he literally grabbed the nearest a light pole and he held on. He said, oh, God, I almost sold your son for $1. Yeah. My brothers and sisters, our lives are the only Bible some people will ever read. Yeah. This is a real scary example of how much people, especially our young people, watch us as adults, leaders, and they'll put us to the test. Our brothers and sisters, we must always be on guard and remember that we carry a huge responsibility on our shoulders when we call ourselves parents, when we call ourselves leaders or Christians or mentors or teachers. You have to watch your thoughts because they become your words. You got to watch your words because they become your actions. You got to watch your actions because they become your habits. You got to watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character because it becomes your destiny. Oh, I hear us in the community. Oh, I'm up and down the state, from the very, very tip of the north all the way down to the very bottom. I hear us in the community. 50% of black and Latino kids don't graduate from high school. My kids are failing in school. It's the teacher's fault. Yet we don't show up at parent-teacher conference, school board meetings, or help our kids with their homework. Is the school system incompetent, or are we? We allow our children to stay up all hours of the night. We allow them to be exposed to all kinds of mess in regards to music and movies. We allow them to surf the internet and talk on the telephone for hours at a time and ruin your credit when you can't pay the phone bill. We believe it's acceptable to wear rags on their heads, hats turned to the side, pants hanging off the behind, and shoes untied, and we pass it off as being okay because it's the style. We allow our beautiful young daughters to dress like grown women. We teach them no self-respect, and when they turn up pregnant, we throw baby showers or parties as if it's something to be proud of. We need to teach them that they must respect themselves by the way they think, by the way they dress, by the way they walk, by the way they talk, and we must demand that our young brothers respect our young sisters. Sheriff, watch my back. I don't want nobody to get mad now. We become immune to mediocrity. We casually go around in our community calling one another nigger. I said it. It's on tape, but it's good. It's tight, but it's right. Our music denigrates our women. Hip-hop, gangster rap, calling women bees, hoes, skanks, skeezers, thoughts. Huh? Our women are black sisters. Our black sisters are queens. They're princesses, they're mothers, they're nurturers of creation. They are God's masterpiece. And so, my brothers, we need to stand up as men and thank God for not giving up on us when we've given up on ourselves. We need black men who are willing to stand up, humble themselves, fess up, man up, stand up, and walk beside our sisters, for they truly need our help. Are we as elders doing our part? Are we setting the proper example? How is it now that we expect more from others than we expect from ourselves? We must always strive to be better. There's a crisis, I tell you. Our people, our families, our communities demand our attention. The price of our silence is staggering. Black America, and I will be more specific in regards to Black America, forgive me, But Black America has been on a roller coaster ride over the last several years. For some of us, President Obama was sworn in for a second term, and that was a high for many of us. The Supreme Court eliminated Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act. That was a low. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. Hey, that was a high, right? But then there was Trayvon Benjamin Martin, born February 5th, 1995, murdered February 26, 2012, a low. Michael Brown gunned down in Ferguson. A 12-year-old named Tamir Rice gunned down with a toy gun in his hand in Chicago. And yes, then there was Eric Gardner, 43 years old. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. A low, the lowest of low. Freddie Gray in Baltimore. The list goes on and on. My brothers and sisters, we live in one nation under God, divided with liberty and justice for some, not for all, but for some. If our community ever needed a wake-up call, we got it loud and clear. And if by chance you are naive enough to think that since the election of Barack Obama that all of a sudden we were living in a post-racial society, they sure enough brought us back to reality with two words: no indictment. Some of these grand jury decisions, these tragedies, confirm the fact that we still have much work to do. Hard work, dedicated work, committed work. We have to come together, my brothers and sisters, and save our own communities. We must stand together and fight this unjust system of justice in this country. If I told you that 1 out of 3 African American males is forbidden by law from voting, you might think that I was talking about Jim Crow 50 years ago. Yet today, 1/3 of African American males are still prevented from voting because of the failed war on drugs. That's not by happenstance. It's not by coincidence. It's by design. This failed war on drugs has disproportionately affected young black men, and they are 4 to 5 times more likely to be convicted for drug possession, although surveys indicate that blacks and whites use drugs at the same or similar rate. The majority of illegal drug use and drug dealers nationwide are white, but 3/4 of the people in prison for drug offenses are African American. That's why the NAACP, New Jersey State Conference, continues our fight, attempting to eradicate this unjust system that has devastated our community. We must continue to speak truth to power. I encourage each and every one of you to go out today, tomorrow, over the weekend, go online, get a book by Michelle Alexander, which is called The New Jim Crow. Educate yourself. Dynamic sister with a powerful message. We must continue to speak truth to power. We must come together, not only stop white police from killing our young black boys and girls, but stop our own from killing our own. Yes, killing our own. Tyshawn Lee. Oh, what a cute kid, 9 years old. Lured into an alley in Chicago and shot in a sick gang-related shooting. Sick, cowardly gangbangers, abhorrent cowards that committed this unfathomable crime. Tyshawn, on his way home from school, targeted because of his family's relationship with a member of a gang. Where's the outrage for Tyshawn? Where's the march? Oh, that's right, we are only concerned when a white cop kills a black person. Forgive me, but my patience are running very, very thin. Go home and Google Tyshawn Lee. Look at him. Look at him, look at his picture. That's our stuff. Not theirs, that's our stuff, and we must take responsibility for our stuff, right? We must protect our children, for they are our most valuable asset. Our forefathers, our civil rights heroes and sheroes, they did more with less. Yes, they did. With less, they beat slavery. With less, they beat Jim Crow. With less, they beat the KKK. With less, they beat lynching. With less, Harriet Tubman got 500 slaves out of slavery. Harriet said, I could have got more if they only knew they were slaves. Did she not? They didn't have email, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, cell phone, Twitter. They didn't even know what Twitter was. She didn't have a car, but she had faith in God and a .38 pistol on her side. Moss on the north side of a tree and the North Star in the middle of a dark night. She did more, they did more with less, so we need to do more, so much more with more. With more, we got to get gangs out of our neighborhoods. With more, we have to make sure that our children can walk back and forth to school safely and get drug dealers off our corners. With more, we need to lose this sick, no snitch mentality that's destroying our communities where we live. We have to work with the police and have them work with us and ensure that their slogan, to protect and to serve, is not only a slogan, but a reality. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all of us indirectly. America finds itself in troubling times. And here we are, many of us, some of us just as tired, wore out, seemingly having no fight left. And that's the reality of it, my brothers and sisters. We're standing around with our hands on our knees, sucking wind, and across the field, our adversaries are standing strong. They got their second wind, chests out, just ready to whoop our tails. Thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? Our fatigue has caused us to lose ground, and we are losing ground each and every day. While we were fatigued, we elect politicians that don't have our best interests at heart. We got to get back in shape, my brothers and sisters. When we as a people are in good shape, we do great things. When we were in shape in 1954, we won the Brown versus the Board of Education, When we were in shape, we were successful with the Montgomery bus boycott that lasted 381 days. Can't get some of us to do something for 381 seconds now. When we were in shape, a black seamstress by the name of Rosa Parks, she wasn't twerking and backing the thing up. She refused to give up her seat on a bus, right? When we were in shape with the leadership of Dr. King, we got Congress to pass the Voting Rights Act in 1964. Didn't want to do it, made them do it. When we are in shape, we're not afraid to march across that bridge called Selma. When we're in shape, we're going to be successful. Yes. And then we can't wait for the challenges. We'll be tough. We'll have our second win, and we'll look across the field at our adversaries, to those who oppose civil rights and social justice. They'll be bent over with their hands on their knees, sucking wind. So how do we get back in shape? First, we must make education our number one priority. Yeah. Malcolm X, like Martin, loved Malcolm. Malcolm said, "An education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today." We cannot allow our children's minds, the most precious commodity we have, to suffer. Second, to get in shape, we must vote. Election Day 2015 voter turnout in New Jersey was the lowest for a general election in state history. That's a sin. We have to go out and beg people to vote. My God. Our ancestors are rolling over in their graves. I have to beg people to go to the polls and then complain about the folks that get elected. Keep playing around. Play around in 2016. Oh, they got a wake-up call for you in November now. Oh, for those who don't like Barack Obama, what's the song say? If you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. Right? It could get ugly. And I know we ain't got much to choose from. We nonpartisan, yet very political. Better get it right. Could be a problem. The NAACP always encourages folks to vote. And vote your values and ensure the politicians that you vote for value your vote. We need to hold all elected officials accountable, regardless who they are, white, black, Hispanic. But how are we going to hold anybody accountable when we don't even vote? Accountability. We need leaders in politics, in the NAACP, in the Camden School District, in your church, that are not naive enough or afraid to talk to people we don't agree with, who don't share our values, maybe who don't even like us. I talk to people every day that don't like us, but you'll respect me, because if you don't, I do have an old nature, and you catch me on the right day, at the right time, and I'll check your, But that's the old me. That's the old me. But I'm tired of leaders who talk tough behind closed doors. I'm not a kitchen table tough guy. Talk a whole lot of stuff behind somebody's back, or talk to the press who just wants to sell papers. I talk to you to your face. There you go. Look at you in your eye, and publicly let them know what we agree on and where we still have a divide. True leadership requires that we get involved in messy situations. Leadership not afraid to push up its sleeves and get down and dirty. We need to shy away from leadership that's more concerned about keeping their friends and families employed while ransoming the masses, less concerned about affecting positive change in the lives of those they claim to serve. True leaders are willing to risk their own reputation to help others. Anything less is negligent. So I'm not walking around here with 1,000 jobs in my pocket for our folks, so I have to talk to those people who have them and ensure and demand access to jobs and job training programs and apprenticeships for our people. For you see, if we ever needed to vote, we sure do need to vote now. So let's try it again. So now until the next election, we must register, educate, motivate, energize, and mobilize our folks to take their souls to the polls. If not, like I said, you might wind up with something that you don't want. So my brothers and sisters, at every election, we must email everybody we know and tell them to show up, because if we ever needed to vote, we sure do need to vote now. Text everybody, tell them to show up. Take some of them friends that you don't need to have on your Facebook and get yourself some real friends up there and tell them to show up to vote. Call everybody you know, knock on everybody's door. Now I don't really know how to tweet, but I'll tell my daughters they can do it, so they can tweet everybody that they know, because God is only going to do for us what we do for ourselves, right? And lastly, and I'll take my seat, we need to train our young brothers and sisters to become the new leaders of this age, right? Some of us getting old. Got to train the young people. Can't talk about them, got to train them. But you got to educate yourself, because you can't teach what you don't know, right? Train them. We need them to be the healing agents of our national and world transformation. The future spiritual and economic salvation is through them. Remember, there are some battles that are not worth fighting even if you win. There are others that are worth fighting even if you lose, right? So we must keep our goals in mind. It may take sacrifice, struggle to bring our goals to fruition, but very few things that are worthwhile in life come easy. Remember that in fighting for what we believe in, we are fighting for a better world. We are using our limited time on this earth to make a difference. By taking some ordinary steps to get involved, we can accomplish extraordinary things and bring about extraordinary results. Each of us must use the unique talents that we have been given by God to make a contribution, to make our communities, our state, our country, our world a better place in which to live. While it is true that one person cannot do everything, there is something for each of us to do, to fight for, and to believe in. We've fallen, my brothers and sisters, but we can get back up again. There are those who want us to remain silent. That's not by coincidence or by happenstance. It's by design. If we're quiet, complacent, disengaged, disjointed, asleep, we are powerless, buried and laid to rest. And as I go to my seat, there's a story about an old horse that lived on a farm. This old horse had been around for a long time. He had worked real hard for the good of the farm. The farm owner's neighbor came out one day and said to the farmer who owned the horse, he said, yo, man, you need to kill that old horse that's out there in the pasture. And the farmer said that, well, you know, he's been around a long time. I kind of like him. But the neighbor said, that old horse has seen better days. The farmer said, well, I just can't bring myself to kill him. Said, that horse has been good to me. He worked and walked in the rain and the sleet and in the snow. He plowed my crops from sunrise to sunset. He pulled my wagons to market, and he helped me take care of my family. I just can't kill that old horse. So the neighbor said, well, I'll tell you what. If you can't stand to look at him when you kill him, just dig a hole and put that old horse down in the hole. Then turn your back and take the dirt and throw it over your shoulder. So the old farmer took the shovel and took the dirt, and he threw it over his shoulder into the hole on top of the horse. But every time the dirt would hit the horse on his back, the old horse down in the hole he would jump. Oh, see, y'all don't know where I'm going with this. Every time he would throw some dirt on the old horse would jump up. And after the farmer, when he turned around, and thought that the old horse would be gone, buried up, covered up, the old horse was standing on level ground. My brothers and sisters, we are that old horse. Wall Street has thrown dirt on us. The justice system is throwing dirt on us. The right-wing extremists are throwing dirt on us. And what's real sad, that some of us are throwing dirt on some of us. But all you got to do, my brothers and sisters, is get up, stand up, move up. If you can't, hell, tell somebody to pull you up, prop you up, but do something. Get up, get involved, help our children. Let's make a better community.
Now you understand why I thought it was a good beginning to have Mr. Smith here. He didn't mention it to you, but he just got back from Cuba. Would you like to give that? But he's the person who is heavily involved in fighting on behalf of our rights, not only in the United States, not only in New Jersey and the United States, but in other countries. What I'm going to say to you is we've just begun to start over again. This is the beginning, and all of us together is going to be able to make this happen. Who are we working for? We're working on behalf of our children and our parents and our community. It's going to take leaders from the top. It's going to take leaders in this state. It's going to take them from the courthouse in Trenton. It's going to take the Department of Education in Trenton. It's going to take the mayor. It's going to take Superintendent Rahanifer. It's going to take the Board of Education and the advisory board. It's going to take the parents, who is the most important person who's sitting in this auditorium today. Know and understand who you are, what your rights are, and what that means for your child. You know what it's like when you feel as though someone has harmed your child? You know what raises up in you? We understand that, but we don't want to come with the rage. We want to come with what the law says. And that's what this part is all about. That's what parental involvement is about in the city of Camden and throughout this country. That's what Title I is for, Title II and Title III. It's for us to work together, unitedly, on behalf of our children. And I want to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for coming. He could have been anywhere else today. He could have been anywhere else, but God laid on his heart to allow him to be here for us. And when I say that, to our sheriff and to the chief of police, we all have to be a part at the table. That's where the committees are going to come back together, Ms. Paymon Rahanifer. And that's how we're going to roll this out. We're going to work with you as you roll out what you need for your area, and we're trusting that you're going to do the same for us. Parents, community school coordinators, you're dear to my heart. We know who you are. We know what you do. We know how important you are. I thank you so much. Ebony, I see you back there. Thank you, because you and the part that you play and face as we unite together, we are going to help to turn this city around. We're going to turn it around. At this time, I'm going to call on Mr. Barfield to come forward to give the acknowledgments and presentation to Mr. Rivers.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Again, we'd like to thank Mr. Smith for giving his time today to come do this wonderful presentation. I want to read the proclamation from the Camden City Board of Education. It said, whereas in the desire of the Camden School District to honor Mr. Richard T. Smith for his commitment to education, equality and justice, civil rights, and for many years of dedicated service to the NAACP, whereas Mr. Richard has always been an advocate for equity and education, as proven by his by him being elected and serving as a member of the Violin Board of Education. And whereas his passion in the fight for civil rights lead him to an appointment by former Governor James McGready to serve as the Commissioner of Division of Civil Rights in 2004. Mr. Smith's leadership, whereas Mr. Smith's leadership abilities lead to his election as president of the NAACP Greater Violin Branch. In October 12, 2013, the annual NAACP New Jersey Conference, Mr. Richards was elected to serve as president of the New Jersey State Conference, and he was overwhelmingly reelected, whereas Mr. Smith's proven commitment to the NAACP's issues of a free, high-quality education for every child, equal access to affordable and high-quality health care, public safety, and equitable dispensation of justice for all, equal opportunities to economic success and financial security, and free and open, equal, and protect access to vote, and fair political representation. Therefore, on the 7th day of April in the year 2016, Camden City District and the Camden District Advisory Council recognized the distinguished leader of civil rights, Mr. Richard Smith, for his commitment to equality for all. And then we have another certificate from the Camden City Board School District. Certificate of Appreciation and Recognition of your dedicated service to the parents of the city, Camden City School District, and the District Parent Advisory Council, and your role as president of the New Jersey chapter of the NAACP. So again, this is another, certificate of appreciation.
Awesome.
And,
Thank you, brother.
we appreciate your service.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
This would begin to conclude our program for today. But what I would like to say is thank you to those who went out of their way to help to make this program possible, which would be the business administrator, Ms. Regina Johnson, Mr. Mill Rivers, over state and federal funds, Mr. Trey Johnson, special management for the Board of Education liaison and working along with them to work with parental involvement and the DPAC. I would like to thank Mr. Payman Rahanafer for being here for us at a time, and we call on you. You've always been there for us as well. And that's how I know. What did I say to you? The first day I ever met you in the mayor's office. And I told you I saw something on the wall, right? I told you what it was. And I said to you at that time, it was laid on my heart that you would be the person that's going to begin to turn this thing around. I know that you're the one. I just need you to do what you need to do in the best interest of our children, our parents, and the community, and you will have all of us and more. We're the army that will keep you marching.
That's right.
We will put our arms around you and protect you. You lead and guide in your area, and we're going to support you. That's how it works. That's how it works. We talk about the book, The New Jim Crow. We have a book. We do have a program where we buy books for the parents, and we read the books, and we come together, and even if we do one chapter at a time, we come back and discuss what that chapter was about. We even buy books, and we read them, and we give them to students, whether it's high school or junior high, depends on the subject matter. We read the book, the students read the book. We come together and we discuss it. They need to feel like they're included because they have a voice, they have a strong voice, and they matter. That's what it's about. So we, as we move forward, will begin to lay out the roadmap so that the beginning of the next school year, just like we did this year, we will make sure all of those areas that we need to work with our children and our parents, besides the things that the federal government calls for. When you see parent training on the school calendar, we'll do it in May. And that's normally at the trailer at the Parent Center at Pine Point. We need you to start coming out because you need to understand what the law calls for. You will get handouts on what that information is, and we will work together and unite in unity. I would like to thank CCSD-TV. Vigard, thank you for being in support of us as you have been since you've been in the district. I say thank you. And again, Mr. Smith, I don't think we could start our program with a better leader and speaker and believing in the things that we believe in. So again, I thank you. And at this time, if all hearts and minds are clear, we would like to conclude our program for today. I'm Martha Wilson, Vice President of the Camden Advisory Board, signing off today for Parental Involvement and Family and Community Engagement Day.